you've been to the camp before and you have some idea of what takes place there, you might want to go more often. I just tell everyone that. Bravo Base, as you guys know, the camp itself, it's a homeless veteran shelter. But what most of you don't know, it's actually part of a veteran suicide prevention program. And to date, in 2 years, we have either flown in, bussed in, or taken in 132 veterans that were in some form of suicidal crisis. And we put them in search and rescue capacity out in the streets in your community to go look for chronic homeless veterans. We specifically target Vietnam vets, Korean vets, and we pulled off World War II veterans off of these streets in the past 2 years. What I hear when I come here, when Richard started this in the very beginning, I went to a couple of beginning meetings, and you guys haven't seen me. I live there. This is my third day of a 21-hour shift where I work 21 hours a day and I get 3 hours sleep. I've got 2 days left. I'm tired. I'm dirty. I live with the people that you guys are here to help. Okay? One thing we miss in this room are the ones that we're trying to help and their voices and what they feel that we can do to help them. And we tend to allow in the activists who want to speak for all the homeless. I'm here specifically representing the chronic homeless who do not want to go into your shelters, who do not want to get their act together, who do not want to get sober, who do not want to be responsible, and who want to remain chronically out there in the state that they're in. We've discovered with our transition program that if we take these individuals and we give them an inch at a time to proceed, they're still making progress, and it shouldn't be within a 30-day window or a 90-day window. I'll give you an example of some of the individuals that we found in these streets. We had Bob, who came back from Building 69 yesterday. Bob served in Vietnam and the Army. He came back from Building 69. He never went to the VA, didn't want nothing to do with the VA. He has 2 Purple Hearts. He got shot twice. He has a Bronze Star, took out a machine gun nest. All this is verified by paperwork. He went down to our Tucson VA. This was a man who just lost his home, worked his entire life, never signed up for any benefits, and now he's rated at 100%. He's going to get 2 years back pay. He has full cover, medical, dinner, and we find on average, we have found like just like 24 veterans who were honorably discharged, entitled to benefits. And we're not just in Tucson. We do a lot of operations in Prescott. We do a lot of operations in Phoenix. I've built 3 camps in Texas. We're kind of all over the place. We're not regulated. Some people here feel that I enable them, but I do. If they want to be homeless, leave them alone. Let them be homeless, because if they don't want help, we're going to waste our time, our resources helping someone who's not going to be helped. Let's see what we can do to make the living conditions a little bit better for them. Let's see what we can do to build the relationships between law enforcement. One of the first things I want you guys to understand is your Tucson Police Department is an outstanding organization. We have a lot of outstanding officers who the mentality I've seen shift in 2 years. We've had 18 homeless veterans that have been brought to our camp and dropped off, put in our medical mass unit to sober up, instead of them taking down to the jail and busting them on a public intoxication. They've done a lot of other things, and I would love to go sing praises, but it's, some stuff, it's, people get uncomfortable when other agencies work with our group because they have this perception of who and what we are. That camp is open for any one of you in this community. If you have an individual, specifically a veteran, we just changed policy, so you'll get updates on that. If we have a service provider who cannot take one of their clients because of a dog, or because they won't leave their girlfriend, or because of some policy that restricts you from helping that individual, and you are willing to commit, our camp appointed basically Cliff Wade as their service provider liaison. So Cliff is there to help the homeless. The camp is staffed by homeless. The homeless run the camp. I'm not there all the time. They have very little supervision, and they're very responsible. Most of you don't know that. I encourage you to go out there. You have homeless individuals chronically living on a camp, don't want to go nowhere, but they're working with service providers, working in the community, and they're helping other homeless people who do want to go into an apartment transition into the services you provide. And that's a huge resource. That's why, ma'am, I mentioned to you with the volunteers. There's ways if we get them involved in these decisions that we're making on their behalf. And I'm going off on philosophical stuff here, but I want you to understand, I've lived with them for 2 years. I see a lot of people in here care about them, and they have the ideas that they have to take this or they have to do this, but their voices aren't in here, and they're not all the same. Number-wise, we've helped transition off the streets over 178 through all of our camps. I've had 21 camps at one time. I operate 2 secret camps that we don't let no one know. We don't use social media about because I don't want anyone going out to bother them. Bravo base is open. But understand from these other camps, they eventually all work their way into coming out of the shadows. Some of them we got to get their warrants quashed, and so there's a lot of obstacles most of you have to go through. And we don't operate on money. We're 100% volunteer. In 2 years, we've never taken one penny, one dime. This is privately funded by the Veterans on Patrol family. This is ran by a Purple Heart He's a warfighter. His name's Kenneth Champlin. He was a drill instructor for 11 years. He lost both his legs in Afghanistan fighting for our freedom. So he's disabled, wheelchair bound. He does have prosthetics, but from his home and his computer, he does everything he can to help connect resources and to go out and find the veterans that fought for him, the Vietnam era vets, and to get them off the streets. It gives them a sense of purpose. Purpose is, I want everybody to understand, if we give the homeless a sense of purpose, it's the same method I use for veteran suicides. It's a battle buddy and a mission. You give that soldier a mission, you put a veteran next to him, they're trained, they will go and accomplish that, and he's not sitting there dwelling in his problems. Same for the homeless. We have a purpose for them. For 2 years, they've been cleaning up your washes in Santa Rita Park and going down in the tunnels, removing syringes. We've got canisters we turn into TPD. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of syringes, meth pipes, crack pipes left in your parks. And homeless individuals have been going out with our teams and picking these up. And to tap into that resource and make them a part of the decision making that we're doing here, that's how we're going to best help them. Is building the relationships. Cliff, he knows a lot of the ones that aren't so on the political stuff. Our mission has no politics, no religious, no political agenda whatsoever, no racial, and there's no race, religion, politic agenda allowed in our organization. We are a Christian ministry. We operate missionary work under the Good Samaritan law. We don't get paid, so you're not coming in to regulate what I do on private property. Okay, but we've been doing this 2 years. We've proven that we can help. And we've had, of course, Jonathan Mayers walk through our camp. We provide free transport. The homeless have their own vehicle. Our family pays the insurance. You have a licensed driver insured using that vehicle. They're transporting themselves to the VA appointments, over to CBI, over to get their paperwork for food stamps. And they're showing that capacity to take care of themselves. We built a piece of land. We've put them in charge of it. They've been running this program themselves successfully for over a year now. And this is where they're unsupervised probably about half of the day. So 50% of the time, there's no one there babysitting them. Service calls, I'm sure, Matt, you can attest, we have meetings with TPD. Service calls have gone down. Your drug dealers, we deal with things on the street differently. We partner with the Vietnam Vets Legacy Vets Motorcycle Club. We have shut down 2 dope houses without utilizing TPD or having anyone arrested or have SWAT running up and getting in gunfights with some of these guys. We surround them with motorcycle clubs. We surround their houses about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then we have meetings. I do have live videos. I've gone into a lot of these places. These drug dealers target the mentally ill people and the veterans that have benefits. And if we don't get in between these guys and stop them, they're never going to be able to save up any money, let alone be able to abide by your guys' guidelines for budgets and everything else. So these services we provide give the guys that you have the hardest time getting housed a better chance. It don't cost you any money. The base is open 24/7, 365, hasn't shut down at all. We've got 97 successful crisis interventions so far this year with veterans who have threatened suicide either on social media or calling our hotline. So there's a lot to the program you don't know. Miss Brandon came here from Texas. For those of you who don't know, when Harvey hit, I got a call from a Korean War veteran on a roof when it was hitting, and the whole place went foobar and the government wasn't ready to take them. So we formed the Arizona Disaster Response Unit. We have homeless veterans from Veterans on Patrol went down with the team. Homeless veterans from Arizona went down to help people who lost their home in Texas. They witnessed everything. She just drove up from East Texas the other day to come thank the homeless vets who came to their neighborhoods, pull people off of the wrecks. I had 120 boats volunteer. Veterans on Patrol formed his first Navy fleet. We were placed under logistical command with Major Mike Kennedy, who was Marine, that had 6 amphibious assault vehicles. We were going into the stores and walking out with everything for free, and we were grabbing the top stuff on all the Walmart shelves. We got live videos. tens of thousands of dollars, $60,000 in baby formula diapers. The Marines loaded this up from our trucks that we brought over and took them to the poorest of the poor neighborhoods in Port Arthur. The ones that lost everything and don't have insurance, that are in these apartments, it's going to just be in horrible living conditions. And these were homeless vets in your own city who went and did that, and she can testify, and that's how she found out about the Veterans on Patrol and what we do. The whole mission aspect for these guys, and I want you guys to get your homeless involved in your decision making for them, is because if you put them in a situation where they feel useful, they'll start to believe in themselves. So you don't even have to believe in them. All you have to do is make them believe they're useful, and once they start believing in themselves, get out of their way, give them what they need, as they need it, not as you think, and the whole thing is, I don't like coming to these meetings, guys, I'm just telling you, because I always hear people talk about, we're going to end homelessness. No, we're not. My Lord and Savior is homeless, and you ain't going to end him. And I know some guys out there that are going to die out there, and I've got a couple that are going to die in one of my camps. But they're not going to be targeted by drug dealers. They're not going to be standing on the corner drinking themselves into oblivion. They're going to have a purpose, and they're going to have family around them. And they will have a home. It's just not a home that you want them to have. We need to stop telling them what we want them to have and start listening to what they need for themselves. And I would just encourage you guys, go out to the camp. She spent the night last night. I mean, if you want, I don't care. Grab a backpack. Go live overnight with them. Get a sense, because that entire place has been running by the homeless. They do a great job, and I think it's a model some other cities probably should start adapting to. So if you want a brief overview, and we do have a manual, give me your email before you leave. I'll get to it eventually. I hate paperwork. If you want case studies, reports, we've got files and files of things that we've done for the community. And we save over, like I said, $500,000 in services with every hospital transport, with every fight we break. We do a lot that saves your first responders a lot of money, and we also give them accurate intel so they don't go into dangerous neighborhoods. And they've been great, like I said, guys. If you see a Tucson Police Department officer, tell them thanks, because they're starting to show more compassion. Instead of going out there to target these guys, they're actually starting to talk to them. And if they got mental illness, they're starting to show a little bit more compassion. And if they're a veteran, they're going to send them over to us because they know we'll do whatever it takes. You're dishonorable, you're other than honorable, I don't care. We'll take you. You got a felony, we'll take it. You got your dog, you got 2 buddies. If that's what it takes to get your client, and he's a vet, we'll take him, his 2 buddies, and his dog. Main goal is to get that veteran in the house. That's our goal. We want to transition to chronic homeless veterans. But like I said, if you have a client, you need a place to put them. You're willing to do the case management to get them into housing, you can use our camp, you can place them at our camp, but they have to abide by our rules. We got the lowest demand shelter in the nation, period. That's it.